Hey, family. Another day on the right side of the dirt, another day to get better. So, in my last couple of videos, rational emotive therapy and the stages of change. This one here is going to be on the circle of control. Basically, the things that we believe have control in our lives. I want to start off this video by reading a verse out of the Bible. Just like always, it's out of Proverbs. It's chapter 3, and it's verse 5. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Never rely on what you think you know. Remember the Lord in everything you do, and he will show you the right way. Never let yourself think that you are wiser than you are. Simply obey the Lord and refuse to do wrong. If you do, it will be like good medicine, healing your wounds and easing your pains. So that was a Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 8. Okay, so it says, lean not on your own understanding, right? Because if we're trying to change, we can't rely on what we think we know, on the automatic responses that are programmed into our subconscious mind. I'm going to read some things, and I will have a couple of PDFs. I did learn how to put some links to some PDFs in the last video. I didn't know if I was going to figure that one out or not, but I did. And I'll have a couple more PDFs in the description of this video also. On the locus of control. So it's basically a checklist of some questions, and you can score yourself, and it'll let you know whether you have your locus of control is internal or external. I'm going to read some stuff here, and that will kind of, and then yeah, I'm going to get into this. So Stoic philosophers, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius all reflected extensively on the circle of control. So I went ahead and drew this circle of control out. I don't know if you can, yeah, it's focused. It's got in the outer circle things that are outside my control. The middle circle is things I can influence, and the very center circle, the bullseye, is things I can control. And the outside circle is the circle of concern. The middle circle is the circle of influence, and the bullseye there is the circle of control. Okay, so the circle of control, which is the things I can control. Evidently, Stoic philosophers have reflected extensively on this. So it says Epictetus, Epectetus. Epictetus, I don't know that name, but it's saying in 2009. Well, anyway, in 2009 wrote. So this person, it says a Stoic philosopher. Okay, I'm not much up on Stoic, but this is something that I came across that explains the video on what we feel we have control over and what we don't. And those do play a big part in in how we see our abilities, whether we think we can or can't change. And if we can have, so this will show us how much control we actually do have, or introduce us to some concepts. We might have a hell of a lot more control over our life than we give ourselves credit for. Um, I used to walk around blaming outside circumstances, other people, everything for the outcomes that were in my life. And as time went by, I learned that I have a lot more control over the outcomes in my life than I was originally taught. So, anyway, he wrote, some things are within our power while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, our reputation, our status, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. Okay? Before I go any further, I did look up the definition for ambivalent from the last video on stages of change. And ambivalent, so that must have been teeter-totter. That might have been contemplation. The contemplation stage. Anyway, ambivalent. You can check back in the last video. It's titled "Stages of Change," and you'll see in the video ambivalent and ambivalence came up a couple of times, and I had no clue what it meant. Well, anyway, ambivalent means having mixed feelings about someone or something, or having or showing very different feelings about someone or something at the same time. It is characterized by ambivalence. Ambivalent people are unable to choose between two, usually opposing, courses of action. All right, back to the understanding the circles of influence. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Understanding the circles of influence, concern, and control. Okay, the Stoics agreed that within our control, guys, are our thoughts, our emotions, and interpretations. Okay. So I was talking about our perception, our perspective. We were talking about our thoughts and our feelings, emotions in a lot of my previous videos. So they agree that within our control are our thoughts, our emotions, and our interpretations, as well as our reactions and actions. These are the things that we should focus on and work to improve. That's thoughts, emotions, interpretations, and our reactions and actions. By contrast, they held that there are things that are clearly outside of our control. These include other people's actions. Okay? We do not have control over other people. Other people's feelings and other people's opinion of us. Their opinion of us is none of our business. Their feelings, that's completely theirs. We have nothing to do with that, guys. And the faster we can get our minds wrapped around that, the faster we can start having more control over our own lives. Okay? And we have absolutely no control over the weather, the economy, or random events in life. These are the things that we should not waste our energy worrying about. So it says we should not waste our energy worrying about what other people do, other people's feelings and opinions of us, the weather, the economy, or random events or circumstances that come up. Okay. The circle of control can be a difficult concept to grasp. Okay. Circle of control is that center one. All right. I couldn't find a PDF of this, but I drew it out. So, the circle of control can be a difficult concept to grasp, especially in a world where we often feel like we need to be in control of everything. Westerners also have a tendency to overestimate their agency and the things they can actually influence. That was written, it's quoted by Nisbet in 2003, Nisbett, if you want to check it out. But however, accepting the idea that there are some things that we simply cannot control can be profoundly liberating. It can help us let go of anxiety and stress and focus on the things that we can actually change, that we actually do control. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not. Let me repeat that. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not. Now, I showed you that. So in this diagram here, okay, in the diagram, you will see 3 concentric circles of different sizes embedded within each other. Okay, the first and smallest circle at the center is the circle of control, representing aspects of our life over which we have direct control. It is the sphere in which we can effect change. Okay? The circle of control symbolizes the areas where we can take meaningful action and make a positive difference. Most philosophers and psychologists agree that this area encompasses our inner lives, our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our interpretations, and judgments of external events, guys. So that's exactly what I've been talking about. The situation, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, behavior, the consequences, the paradigm, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, how we received our mental program from when we were very little infants up until we were about 8 years old. And this is our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our interpretations, the way we see things. Okay? Check it out, family. This is good stuff, man. I'm digging it. I'm trying to change a lot more than what I have. I got a long way to go, guys. I got a long way. I keep looking at myself over there. But I got a long way to go. Just because I quit drugging and drinking, that's all I did. Got my work life in order, my employment life in order, received a little bit of an education, got some, a technical diploma and some other things, some knowledge, that I put into action. But yeah, so it says that we should try to focus most of our attention, energy, and resources on the our inner lives. Okay. The second, slightly larger circle is the circle of influence. That's this second circle here, which is the circle of influence. Is the circle of influence representing the intersection of factors within our immediate control and those that fall outside of our area of control. So I guess this is exactly what I was saying about there's some stuff that we have complete control over, some stuff that we have some control over. I would say that that's influence, some influence over, and then there's some things that we have absolutely no control over at all. Okay. So that's the circle representing the intersection of factors within our immediate control and those that fall outside of our area of control. This is quite literally a gray zone. We may or may not have the power to expand our influence into this region to create change. We can certainly try. It is wise to spend some of our energy in that sphere, bearing in mind that we can control our efforts in this sphere, but not necessarily the outcomes. So we can put effort in influencing certain aspects of our lives, certain things, outcomes, influence it. Oh, I wish I didn't need these things, man. This is quite literally a gray zone. Okay. The third and largest layer, the outermost circle here, things that are outside my control, the circle of concern. Okay. The third and largest outermost circle is the diagram represents the circle of concern. This circle encompasses a broader range of external factors, challenges, and circumstances that we may care about, but which are clearly beyond our control. This circle includes the economy, climate, weather, but also most of the actions, reactions, behaviors, and feelings of other people. Okay? The things that are completely out of our control are most of the actions, reactions, behaviors, and feelings of other people. We cannot control the world around us, but we can control our reactions to it. There are excellent reasons for applying this model in our own life. Individuals who focus on the circle of control are more likely to be resilient in the face of stress and adversity. Stress and adversity, guys. That's what active use brings. That's what poverty brings. That's what dysfunctional belief systems bring. The circle of control is a useful cognitive tool for individuals to manage their emotional reactions to stressful situations. So basically, knowing what we have control over, what we don't have control over, and what we have some control / influence over. Okay, that's very big. So that was the circle of control is a useful cognitive tool, thinking pattern tool for individuals to manage their emotional reactions to stressful situations. And there was some kind of a study by Vandenberg et al. In 2017 arrived at a similar conclusion in their 3-wave longitudinal study on the role of perceived control in the link between perceived economic hardship and subjective well-being. Individuals who have a strong sense of control over their lives, as indicated by a larger circle of control, are more likely to experience positive emotions and subjective well-being. Okay. The circle of concern includes the events, situations, reactions, and phenomena that are clearly outside of our spheres of control and influence. They include, for example, our pasts, where we were born, who our parents are, and how they treated us, government policy, economic developments, war, illness that may befall us, accidents, traffic, people's behavior, the media, redundancies, and deaths of loved ones. In order to live full and rewarding lives, we need to learn to let go of trying to control anything that lives in this circle. This outside circle here. Things that are outside my control. Okay? In order to live a full and rewarding life, we need to learn to let go of trying to control anything that lives in that circle. This is, of course, much easier said than done. Okay? Like I said, this shit ain't easy. It is not easy. But we got to take some information in. We got to break it down. We got to decipher stuff. We got to challenge our thinking. We got to challenge the way we're living. We got to challenge what we're doing. Okay? We got to get outside of this poverty mindset, this mediocrity, average living, man. Give me a hell yeah down in the comments if you believe what I'm saying, if you agree with what I'm saying. All right? If you're 100% happy with where you're at in life and you ain't got no hardships, you ain't got no goals, you just good to be where you're at, then you're probably not watching the video. So, well, where was I at here, guys? Okay, that was that. This is, of course, much easier said than done. It involves the capacity to let go of our desire for control and at the same time to seek to control unhelpful ruminating. Well, let's look that up real quick. Ruminating. Definition. Ruminating, thinking carefully and repeatedly about something. Obsessively repeating thoughts or excessively thinking about problems. Chewing over and over again is done by ruminant animals like cows, blah, blah, blah. So ruminating, to think deeply about something. So it says it involves the capacity to let go of our desire for control and at the same time to seek to control unhelpful, repeated thinking, obsessive thinking, or unhelpful thinking, self-defeating thinking. All right, learning something here. Learned what ambivalent was. We just learned what ruminating is. Need to have me a little dictionary in the description too, giving definitions, huh? Yeah, it'll all expand. I'm still learning. Still learning. I've only been doing this a month. Okay, I had no idea this is what I was going to be doing. I just sat there one day and was just I don't know, influenced by some outside force to pick up my phone and start recording a video. Here I am, a little over a month later, doing this shit every single day. And I think I'm doing this for myself, hoping that it helps somebody that watches this. You know, hopefully I still, at that time, decide to put all this public. If not, I'm just sitting here talking to myself, which can't do nothing but help me, right? All right. So, this does not mean that we stop caring about the things that are in the circle of concern. Rather, it means that we stop kidding ourselves about our ability to change them. The circle of control is not a prescription for detachment or indifference. It is a way of focusing our attention and energy on what really matters so that we can live more fully and authentically. The circle of influence is perhaps the most controversial part of the model. The Stoics, who were, it has to be said, quite pessimistic about individual agency in the public sphere, didn't believe in it at all. Many modern day psychologists, by contrast, do believe in the circle of influence. Today, we live in societies that differ quite dramatically from the civilizations of ancient Greece and Rome. Many are democracies that subscribe to the Charter of Human Rights. The Stoics were perhaps overly pessimistic about our influence and efficacy, partly because they lived in the age of tyrannical emperors who could destroy fortunes and take lives on a whim. They couldn't trust in fair process, stable laws, and clear balance of power. We can see the circle of influence as the point where inner meets outer. So this is where it meets what we have 100% control over and where we have absolutely no control over. Okay? It's the separator. What we place in the circle of influence also depends on how. So you can write these circles out like this, right? And you can leave them empty, and you can give them a little title, and you can fill this whole circle in with things that you have absolutely no control over. You can fill this one with everything that you think that you can influence, and fill that middle one in. Try to fill the middle one in first. So just write a big bunch of stuff that you have 100% control over, and then put a circle around it. Then go around that and write things that you think you can influence or that you have influence over in your life. Then put a circle around that. And then circle that around, go around that and put things that you know you have absolutely 100% no control over. And put a circle around that. And that kind of, in the exercises we did I gotta find it, but they made us put a pie chart. So we had a pie chart, different size pieces of pie. We had to fill in each piece of pie and label it, and they give it how much. So what had influence and control over us, and to what degree. And I can't remember what I put, but I'm sure I'll come across that when I get into doing that presentation of that whole. Stack of material there. All right. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. What we place in our circle of influence also depends on how optimistic, or pessimistic. So optimistic is we're looking at the future as positive outcomes, faith, joy, anticipation, excitement, encouragement. Or pessimistic, nothing ever works out for me. Man, that ain't never going to happen. Negative, doubt, fear, anxiety, worry. Okay? So it says what we place in our circle of influence depends on if we're optimistic, faithful, pessimistic, doubtful. And we think about our agency and self-efficacy. I don't know what it means by agency and self-efficacy, but we may overestimate our agency and influence, or else we may underestimate it, especially when we feel depressed and helpless. Some things we do in the circle of control radiate outward. They have consequences for ourselves and those around us. The way we behave and show up impacts others and our projects. So we got agency, we got projects. I don't know what this is about. Definitely a different type of language. It's positivepsychology.com. Circles, hey, there you go. So positivepsychology.com, circles of influence is where I'm reading this from. So It can positively influence certain situations and outcomes and thereby expand our circle of control. For example, how we prepare and show up for a job interview will increase our chances of getting the job. How hard we work and how strategic we are about our decision making may determine the success of our business, but not always, and that is precisely the point. Sometimes external circumstances will trump all of our efforts in the circle of control. A global pandemic, for example, led to the collapse of many businesses, regardless of how hard their owners worked or how strategic they were. Circle of control, guys. This is where it said at the beginning of the article. The first and smallest circle at the center is a circle of control representing aspects of our life over which we have direct control. And then it said, is the sphere in which we can affect change. It says that philosophers agree that this area encompasses our inner lives, our thoughts, emotions. We should try to focus most of our attention and energy and resources on that. Well, this is where we're at. We're on that circle of control right here. As mentioned before, what we can control includes our responses to external events that are outside of our control. We can, to a certain extent, at least, try to control our thoughts, judgments, interpretations, and our emotions. We may use metacognitive, cognitive behavioral therapy, and acceptance and commitment therapy techniques. I've never even heard of metacognitive or acceptance and commitment therapy. I've heard of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, Robert Ellis. He passed away in 2007. But all right. Therapy techniques or journal, writing down, journal, and practice mindfulness and radical acceptance. We can work on our mindsets, guys, and seek the help of therapists and coaches to develop our resilience and inner resources. Besides our inner lives, we can also control most of our behaviors. As an example, while we cannot control getting an illness, we can improve our general health and well-being, hoping to prevent illness. We can choose to eat well, get enough sleep, drink enough water, exercise, and not indulge in toxic substances. We can also control some of our reactions and choose not to respond in anger or fear to certain stimuli or jump straight into impulsive action without due reflection. We can aim to make conscious, deliberate choices in life that are aligned with our core values. Well. We know what the next video is going to be on. Core values. Actually, let's see here. I know this one's getting kind of long, but let's see if I can find it. Yeah, defining values. Yeah, we'll get into... Yeah, maybe that's what we will do. Okay. Yeah, might as well. Hell, each video brings about the next one. Okay. Actually, it says down here, I didn't even go to this. It says if you want to avoid the circle. So this worksheet and template is an excellent starting point. It gives clients a nice indication of what might be placed in the different circles. But remember, the circle of influence is most definitely a gray zone. What we wish to put in here might vary significantly from person to person. If you want to avoid the circle of influence, you can opt for a more straightforward Stoic version, which only features a circle of control and a circle of concern. So yeah, exactly how I said that you can empty that circle and just fill them in. But like I said, guys, go to positivepsychology.com/circles-of-influence. And you can get this article. And I'll also have a couple of PDFs down in the description. But yeah, I think we're going to define values on our next video. So this one here was circle of control. Oh yeah, this was circles of influence. Basically what we have and don't have control over. So I still got to think of the title for this video. Probably control in our lives. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to go ahead and get this video wrapped up by ending it with my daily journal entry. Something I look forward to. Remember yesterday's last one was awesome. I seen the change in my tone. Man. All right. Let's see what we got. All right, that was that one. Put an X there. So for October 13th of 2011, what was positive and what was negative about today? Positives are I saw 2 inmates go home today. What? I used that one already. I didn't read this one, but I used that one. Okay, well anyway, what was positive and what was negative about today? Positives are I saw 2 inmates go home today. So I guess I see inmates go home a couple times because I already saw that. Some good word in the Bible today, and I willpowered my way past oatmeal raisin cookies at dinner. Negative is I overcalculated on my canteen order, so I didn't get my mother's birthday card. What are the main feelings I experienced today? I feel thankful for the miracle of what is my life and the opportunity to acquire some tools to use that will keep me out of prison if I utilize them when I need to. All right. Yeah, I'm just kind of debating whether I read this one or not, but what helped me make it through the day? I actually got through today without really even thinking about it. Knowing that I am doing something to improve my way of life has me preoccupied. What did I learn today? I learned that on October 13th of 1792, the cornerstone for the White House was laid. So October 13th of 1792, the cornerstone for the White House was laid. Huh. So yeah, guys, that was my journal entries for October 13th of 2011. Yesterday I said 13 months and some years ago. No, 13 years and some months ago. All right. That leaves it at that. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to define some values in the next video. Keep pushing forward. Never give up. Just because we've always done something doesn't mean we have to continue to do it. Getting better with Jason. See you next time.